Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, beautiful ladies. This is Millen Livis, Financial Empowerment, Financial Independence Mentor. And I'm very happy to be connected with you today. I don't know if you can see me, you can hear me live, or some of you may be watching this in recording. I want to start with saying thank you very much for taking time to watch this special Q&A session today. And the reason I decided to offer this Q&A session because, as you may know, I'm right now offering my brand new training, Grow Wealth with Real Estate Investing. And I receive messages and emails with questions, with comments. And I felt that instead of individually answering some of the questions, why don't I answer them live in this group, so you will see if some of these questions maybe resonate with your own issues or concerns, and that's why I'm here. So thank you very much again for taking time to watch this video, whether you are live, watching it live, or in recording. So I want to start with a story that I wanted to share with you. I had a conversation at the beginning of this week with a old friend who told me that seeing my lifestyle, seeing how I have freedom of money, freedom of time, freedom of location, she would love to have freedom-based lifestyle. But at the same time, she feels that investing is too risky. Specifically, real estate investing is too risky. Apparently, she took real estate classes in the past, and she didn't feel that it was the right time to start investing, so she kind of waited and missed some opportunities. And so in a way, she knows that it's a very powerful way to become financially independent, but at the same time, she has a lot of concerns and fears. I am great to see you. Thank you for joining live. Thank you. So I was just saying that I spoke with a friend who knows how I managed to create a very successful, profitable, hands-off real estate business, and she would like to have something like that in her life, but she feels it's too risky for her. And frankly, I can understand. There are so many unknown when it comes to any investing. Including real estate investing. And a lot of people are concerned because, like what she told me, what if I invest in a property in the wrong location? What if I buy it at the wrong price? What if I don't find tenants for this property? What if tenants that I rent to would be bad tenants, etc.? And what if I need to do repairs? And how will I finance it? So she has a lot of very valid questions. And I understand this especially very well because some time ago I was in sort of her shoes, and I knew that I wanted to start investing in real estate, and I had so many what ifs in my head that I was afraid. But then I met some very skilled salesperson, a real estate agent. And he managed to convince me that the properties that he had at that time in Florida, and I was living in New Jersey at this time, were the greatest investments ever. And because I did not know how to evaluate property, I didn't know how to identify whether it's a good location for rental property or not. I mean, there were so many things that I didn't know, which I thought that it's that simple. And obviously, I made very bad decisions, and I learned very expensive lessons. So now I know that it's much more than just ask a real estate agent to find you a rental property. There is much more behind this. And you know, frankly, if it was that easy, if it was that simple that people would not need to have any knowledge, any support, any guidance, then probably a lot of people would be multimillionaires, right? So obviously there is a learning curve that is required, I believe. based on my experience. There's a learning curve that is required. And my goal when I was building this business was not to create another job. My goal was to create freedom-based lifestyle, because I wanted to live anywhere in the world and still have my passive reliable income every month. And that's why the way I built my real estate business is highly systematized and pretty much hands-off. That's why I say it's a passive residual reliable building a business for me, income streams for me, because the way I systematize it. So yes, I studied with a lot of successful real estate investors, not just someone who wanted to make money, but people who actually had a record of success in real estate investing. I knew that they knew how to identify the right value for the property, how to know what location is good to find, how to negotiate with tenants, how to negotiate with sellers, things like that. You know, I wanted to know what I'm doing pretty much. And that's why I decided to offer this training, because obviously after 15 years of being in real estate investing, I managed to create a highly systematized business, and it's a cash machine. And I definitely have freedom of time and freedom of location and freedom of money to do what I want to do, and freedom of choice, right? And that's what I'm trying to share with you and get you awakened to these possibilities in your life as well. So I told you that that's going to be a Q&A session, and I will open floor, so to speak, stage to all your questions, whether you will ask them right now on live video, or if you watch this in the recording and you have some questions, I would be happy to answer them. And in the meantime, while I don't see any questions yet, let me go over some of the reasons why many real estate investors fail. Because the truth is that it's not everybody who starts investing in real estate is successful. And you probably know some horror stories, and I know very smart people who basically felt that it's that simple, that you just buy property and rent it out and that's it. Many of them had to declare foreclosures and lost money, bought properties that are not income producing, and basically they losing money on real estate investing, and that's a possibility. So let me share with you some of the reasons why some real estate investors fail. So one of the reasons, and I think I have like about 8, and then I will share with you some questions that I received. One of the reasons that many wannabe investors, it's kind of hot here. 1 second, let me reduce the AC. As a matter of fact, I'm recording this video, I'm streaming live from my villa in the south of France, and it's so hot. I wanted to do this outside, and it's so hot right now. I don't know if it's still hot where you are, but it's like over 40 degrees Celsius here. So I said, let me just stay in my air-conditioned office here. Anyway, so the first reason why many real estate investors fail is because they trust some very skilled salespeople, aggressive real estate agents who convince them that what they have to offer is something that would create great profit for this people. And these investors, these beginner investors, they don't do their own due diligence. They don't know how to properly evaluate the market value of the property. They don't know how to calculate pro forma. There are so many different things that come with this buying the right, what I call buy it right, buy the right property. meaning at the right price, in the right location, finance it right, etc. So basically, people, just like what happened to me, people trust these agents who, maybe don't have great integrity, and they, many people I know in 2008, 2010 got over leveraged. Bought many properties, over leveraged, and got really in a very, very challenging situation. Some of my family members were in this situation as well. So it's very common that when you don't know what you're doing, it's easy to convince you to follow particular suggestion. So that's one of the reasons. Another reason, as I mentioned, many beginner investors, they don't know how to evaluate accurately the value of the property. So not only they just follow someone's directions, if they knew how to evaluate this, if they knew how to do their own due diligence and calculate what is the market value versus what would be the right price for them to buy, because you should not buy at market value, right? You should buy below, but how below? So there is a way to calculate this. So when they don't know how to evaluate the value of the property, sometimes they overpay. And I like to say that you make money when you buy. So it's super important to make sure that you know what is the right price for you to pay. For example, when we were looking for properties in France, and we found some house that we really, really like, and we made an offer, and the seller said, no way. It was way below his selling price. And I did my calculation. I knew that that was the right price, and I was not willing to compromise my confidence about the right price versus what he wanted to sell it for, right? And I also know how to negotiate with sellers. So, it took us a little bit of time, but we bought this house at the price that we counter offered, and that was the right price to buy. If I didn't know what I was doing and I would buy it at the price the seller wanted, we will highly overpay, and that would be very bad purchase. And I believe that when you buy any property, including your own house, it's very important to look at it as your investment. So it's very important to evaluate the value of the property for you, how much you're willing to pay, what would be the right price to offer versus what your real estate agent tells you would be the good price. Okay? So that was number two. Well, the number three is that most people don't negotiate with the sellers or do it very poorly. So you have to know how to negotiate. And by the way, why I'm going over this, because knowing that, I included all of these aspects, from evaluating the right property, from knowing how to negotiate, whether it's real estate agent or your seller who you're buying property from, how to negotiate. Okay, so it's very, very important, because even if you don't buy from the seller directly, from the seller of the property directly, you can still negotiate with the seller through the third party. It would be your real estate agent, or maybe someone else, I don't know, maybe a friend. But it's very important that you know what is the right price. Then you will know how to negotiate and what is your ultimate goal, financial goal to make an offer. Hi, Susan. Great to see you with us. Thank you for joining. Okay, so that was negotiation. Next reason why a lot of real estate agents, investors fail, because they don't know which area is the best area to buy rental property in. And I can tell you that I know this personally, right? So everything that I teach you, it's not from the books, from the school books, right? I experienced that. So some people buy property because it's cheap, right? And they feel that, you know, that's the right property for them. They get the value of the property, they calculate pro forma, fine. But then they don't realize that if you don't buy in the right property, in the right location, then it would be very challenging for you to rent it. So you may even buy at the good price, but if location is not good location for rentals, if it doesn't have good schools, etc., there are different criteria that, again, I teach in my training. Then even if you buy the right price, you will not, your property will not be a good income producing property, because you will not be able to get the rent that you want to get, right? The income that you want to get monthly. So it's very important to have certain criteria for location, which again, I obviously included in my training. Okay, so the next reason why many real estate investors fail, they don't get best terms for financing. Financing is essential for real estate investing. Most real estate investors leverage their investments, meaning that they borrow money so they can enjoy the full value of the investment while putting only down payment. But some people over leveraged, and there are different ways to finance in real estate property purchase. Several ways. I think in my program, I think I shared 7 or 8 ways to finance real estate properties. I used all kinds of financing because, as many of you know, when I started investing, I didn't have much money to invest, so I had to be creative. And that's why when I hear from some people that, you know, I don't have money, I like to say, when there is a will, there is a way. I was so focused on finding the way to make it work, and I found the way to make it work. So it's not, you know, some people have money and they so afraid to invest that they have money in the bank and they lose money because there is no interest, and you know, maybe inflation in some countries is so high. So it's not only money that is important when it comes to investing. Believe me, it's much more than that. Okay, so that was the reason number 5 was that many people don't get best terms for financing. Number 6 is when you buying a rental property, you've got to calculate pro forma. You've got to calculate your net income statement. And many investors, they go by what the seller tells them, by the seller pro forma. Someone else join us. Hi, Susan. We have Suzanne and Susan now. Great to have you with us, ladies. So I was talking about another reason many real estate investors fail, because they don't calculate the expense statement, what is called pro forma statement properly. They only rely on what the seller of the property tells them, what his or her expenses are. And a lot of these statements that they give you omit very important aspects, like maybe what they spend on maintenance, what they spend on repairs, what they spend on landscaping, what, you know, they give you property tax from previous years. There are, again, I share all of this in this training because a lot of real estate investors, beginner investors, they trust sellers pro forma. It's a statement, expense statement. And I think it's one of the biggest mistakes, because obviously seller is motivated to sell the property as high as he or she can. And if you don't do your due diligence, if you don't find out, you know, the cost of maybe utilities like water or gas, if you have to pay this, etc. So you will be in a very challenging situation, because you will have expenses that are higher than you expected. Okay, so that was reason number 6. Reason number 7 why some real estate investors fail because they don't systematize this business so they can outsource it. They do all of this by themselves. And I can tell you, if you do everything by yourself, it could be overwhelming because I'm a woman. I'm not very hands-on. I cannot do repairs, even though I learned when we bought this property in France, we didn't have a lot of money for contractors. So I learned how to put tile and how to paint and things like that. But in general, in my rental properties, I'm very hands-off. And a lot of beginner investors, they want to save, and because they don't calculate the expense pro forma properly, they want to save as much as possible, and they do so much with this business, and they don't have systems. They feel overwhelmed, they feel burned out, and they hate it, and things like that. And I can tell you that from my experience, it's such a great business to outsource when you systematize different aspects of this business, which I did and which I obviously teach in my training as well. So that's one of the biggest reasons why many landlords, owners of rental properties, really fail and hate it. And frankly, I bought rental properties from some of this burnout landlords, and I made it work. And now it's like great producing properties, and for me it's very profitable. But they couldn't make it work because they they tried to save on everything, and there were no systems. It was kind of random, doing here, doing there. It was taking a lot of time. Look at me, I can afford to go and live in France for 6 months while my properties located in the US are running fine, right? So that's kind of real estate business I wish you to have as well. So you would have your freedom lifestyle, so it would not be just another job. That's the goal, that's the idea, okay? And yeah, and so that was my number 8, is that reason many beginner real estate investors fail, because they do heavy lifting themselves. I know that some women feel that real estate investing is only for men because, I don't know how to, paint, how to fix the door, how to install the security system, how to change the windows and things like that, how to take care of the roof. And they feel that it's not for women. And again, from my experience, you don't have to be hands-on as a woman in your business. I mean, if you like this stuff, some women do, and you handy, then it's fine. But you don't have to. And that's the idea, that you've got to find the property that would be, you will buy at such a good price, and you will buy it in the right location that you will be able to afford to have a team who will maintain and support your business and help you rent it out, etc. Okay, so I have a separate module in this training on how to systematize your business. I'm sharing with you my systems. By the way, in this training, I will share with you my documents, my systems. It's basically, I'm opening you the door to my back end business, right? So you will know how I do it and what works. Okay, so that was, I wanted to cover the 8 reasons why many real estate investors, beginner real estate investors fail. Now I want to share with you some of the questions and comments that I received that I think could be interesting for you as well to hear about. So very, very common issue with investing in real estate. I want to invest in real estate, but I don't have money. And I can tell you, frankly, that it may or may not be a good reason for you not to consider this training and consider investing in real estate right now. Here's why. You can learn about real estate investing so you will not lose money later on, because this training, I believe, will save you a lot of, dozens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands, like I was in a position that I didn't know what I was doing, right? I lost a lot of money. So that's number one, that I believe that it's very important to start learning about successful investing in real estate business and how to systematize your business. It's important to do it, I would say, before you're ready. It's almost like was having a baby. You're never ready to have a baby, right? And once you have it, you just do what you have to do and you learn what you have to learn. That's one reason. Another reason, I think, it may not be a valid reason not to start training if you're really interested in real estate investing. Because if you're not interested, then you don't even need to listen to me for this Q&A unless you have questions. But if you're really interested and believe that this is something, this is the additional stream of income that you would like to add, I just want to tell you that there are different creative ways to invest in real estate. I call it finance it right. And finance it right, it's a separate module in my training, is based on your particular situation. Because for some people, maybe getting mortgage from the bank is not the best option, right? So that's why we talk in this training, I talk about financing it right. So I believe that if you in a similar position as I were when I started investing in real estate, and I pretty much was financially in a very, very challenging situation, you can find the ways from having business partners, from doing seller financing, etc. I teach all of these options, how to successfully finance new real estate property based on your situation. Okay, so that was one question. What if I don't have money? I don't know if I answered this question well enough. Let me know if it makes sense, if it doesn't make sense. The next question, the next comment that I received a couple of times was, I don't have enough time for real estate investing. Again, if you're not interested, if you don't think it's important for you, like I felt that because I analyzed, many successful multimillionaires, investors, and I knew that most of them had diversified into real estate. So I knew that I want to add real estate income into my portfolio. I can tell you that if this is something that you really want and you feel is important, then I would invite you to make time for this, because nobody has time for anything unless you make it your priority and you make time for this, for whatever is important. If it's real estate investing, then make time for this. If it's something else, then it's a different story. And I can tell you that this training that I'm offering right now is not for everybody. If your focus right now is 100% to build your business no matter what, or if your focus is 100% to start investing in the stock market or things like that, then maybe this training is not for you. But the only thing I can say that I will offer this only once a year, and the price, the investment next year will definitely go up, because I know that it's the offer that I make right now is very low, and it was intentionally so because it's the first time. But next year it would be at least 1,000 more to invest in this program. Okay, so that's about I don't have time for real estate investing. Okay, so another question was, I took real estate courses before, and I never made the leap into investing. And this is very common. I'm telling you, I don't know how many times I heard that people took real estate courses, but they weren't sure what to buy, where to buy. They felt that the timing was not right, that it was just circumstances were not right, etc. And I can tell you that when you really want to start investing. You will find opportunities because you will know where to look for them and how to talk to people who could help you to find these opportunities, okay? So definitely, if this is something that is in your subconscious mind running right now, the tape that this is something that you want to add to your streams of income, I suggest that you consider this training seriously, because it is a great opportunity for you not only to get knowledge and maybe refresh if you took courses before, but actually work with me. You know, like I will hold your hand all the way, right? I will support you, I will guide you, I will share with you my documents, I will share with you my tips. I have common mistakes that to avoid. I have like the whole tip sheet for real estate investors and things like that. So I think it's a great opportunity. If real estate investing is, you know, at the top of your mind right now, which I think for many of you could be a good idea, because from what I know from my experience, this is the fastest and you know, the most almost guaranteed way to become financially independent. If you know what you're doing, obviously, right? Because if you know what you're doing, you definitely will succeed with real estate investing. It's not rocket science. You just need to have some knowledge. You need to have some guidelines, and I would say support is very important as well. Okay, so that was this question. Another question was, I am a real estate agent right now. How would this program benefit me? And I can tell you that at some point I used to be a real estate agent. It's very, very different. Being real estate agent and being real estate investor, completely different. Even though you deal with real estate, yes, you will have more opportunities to access properties, so you have some benefits as an agent in terms of access. But the mentality, the calculations, the evaluation, it's very, very different. Why do you think very few real estate agents are wealthy? Okay, so I definitely feel that it would be very, very useful course, useful training for real estate agents. And again, it's not just theory, okay? You will be applying everything that you learn during this training right away. I want to see, I don't know about you, but I want to see that whatever knowledge you learn, you get, you don't just put it on a help shelf, right? That you actually apply this, that you make these principles that you will learn live and for you, and they should make sense for you, so you will be using them, not just knowing about them, because a lot of people know a lot of things, but how many people act on their knowing? Not that many. And that's why, even though it seems like it's such a great opportunity to invest in real estate, not too many people do that. And as Harv Eker said a long time ago, when you're willing to do what others want, you will have what others can't. And I think my experience with real estate proved that, based on some of the landlords that I bought properties from, they just couldn't perform. They couldn't make it work. Some were overwhelmed and burned out. And you know, for me, it's fun, and it's actually a very great opportunity to support my freedom-based lifestyle. Okay, so next question was, I live in the United States. Sorry, I don't live in the United States. How this training will help me? I can tell you that most of the modules, most of the aspects of this training, like I would say 95% of this training is based on general ideas, general approach to having successful real estate business. It's not US specific. Sometimes I refer to some websites, like, for example, how to find commercial properties, how to find residential properties. Some of these websites I use based on the US, but this is such a small portion of this training, because I can tell you what websites you need to find in your country. Okay, because what I'm teaching is how to find the property, how to buy it right, how to finance it right, how to negotiate, how to rent it right, how to find good tenants, how to protect yourself from the legal standpoint. So these are concepts that apply across the board, I believe. So I was trying, when I was writing this course, I was trying to make it as cross-border, as international as possible. So I feel that it would be a very good idea for you to get this knowledge, get this training, regardless of the country. That's my experience. But if you have specific questions pertaining to your particular country, obviously we can always discuss this, and I invite you to contact me in person. Okay, what other questions? I just want to cover the questions that you may have, and I don't want to miss anything. Okay, so next one was, I'm already a successful real estate investor. Well, if you are a successful real estate investor right now, you don't need this training. However, if you kind of tried real estate investing in the past and it didn't work for you, it would be perfect, because now you already have experience, you know what is not working, and maybe you could tweak a few things and make it work for you this time and make it profitable. So I believe that for people who maybe didn't have such a great experience before, this could be a good opportunity to know how to make it profitable this time. Okay. And I think another question or comment rather was, Millen, give me a good reason as to why I would choose to work with you. There are a lot of programs out there, and you know what? You're absolutely right. There are a lot of real estate investment programs out there. I agree with you. And what I am suggesting, I'm not saying that you have to work with me. Absolutely not. What I'm suggesting is that you choose the person who, number one, you trust, number two, has a track record of successful investing in real estate, number three, someone who really cares about your success, not only cares about selling you their programs, but really cares about your success. This is very important and very, very rare. I also feel that it's important that you feel energetic connection with the person, because, for example, I know some business coaches who probably technically good business coaches, but I don't feel connected energetically to them, and I know that I will not succeed if I work with these people, because you have to have trust, and usually when you have good connection and good rapport with this mentor coach, it helps to have a successful business. Okay, and I just want to tell you, I offer 30 days guarantee, right? So for 30 days, you will get at least 3 modules. You will have a very good idea whether this training is right for you or not, and you can cancel if you don't feel that it's right for you. No problem, no questions asked. And I used to feel that you know, I'm responsible for my clients' success, and I think it was wrong, because I feel now that I was almost like playing a saver, and it's not right, because just like in any family, any mother who has children, she gives them everything equally to all the children that she has. Equal opportunity to succeed, and yet some children choose to you know, have jobs and study hard and have good manners, etc. Whatever it might be, whatever your definition of successful child may be. So and yet others there are other children in the same family who choose a different path, and maybe they don't want to study, or maybe they don't want to work, and so I will give you all the tools, all the resources, all the techniques and strategies for you to succeed in real estate investing. And I want you to realize that it's your commitment, it's your discipline, it's your passion for having a freedom lifestyle that will be a decisive factor for your success. Okay, I'm here. The registration for this program will be closed on Friday at midnight. If you have any questions related to the program or not related to the program, I'm here to support you. I'm here to guide you, to see you grow and expand. And I really appreciate that you chose to be on this Q&A training, and I look forward to hearing from you very soon. Have a wonderful day, and I'll see you soon. Take care. Bye now. To your financial independence.